It's time to take a ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive with our co-hosts, Alan Saunders and Zachary Smith.
Welcome into another episode of Steelers Afternoon Drive. I'm Zachary Smith. That is Alan Saunders. Alan, I don't know if it's just because of Friday. I always have my headphones on the same volume, but that was booming. I thought it was going to blow up my eardrums when that first started playing, which if something's going to take out my eardrums, I hope that it is that song. How are we doing now?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good.
It's also, I guess, maybe a Friday. I don't know if it's just because of that or what it is. I'm also about to be leaving for vacation here for a few days. So, the vibes are just high. Maybe it just seemed like it was booming in my ears, but it really wasn't. But anyways, a lot of good stuff to get to. Alan, when we were going through some topics here, going through questions, you told me literally right before we started recording that you have a take, something we've talked about quite a bit over the last week or so is Jalen Ramsey. And we've covered it from a lot of different angles, such as does the fit make sense? Is it worth it in terms of the acquisition cost and also the price tag of paying him the salary? What was this take that you got in terms of Jalen Ramsey that has not already been said?
Well, I just think we talked yesterday about the fit being obviously a really good player, a little bit expensive for what the Steelers need, and also would he really want to come to Pittsburgh to play in the slot, right? And obviously a lot of the talk has been about him going back to the Rams. Adam Schefter today throughout the Chargers as a possibility. You mentioned yesterday about maybe he wants to play in a warm weather place. I just threw up the Rams and the Chargers depth charts.
Yeah.
The Rams, who were, by the way, on the fairly short list of teams that we considered actual Super Bowl contenders yesterday. I had them there. Did you have them there?
Yeah, it's because I said it's between them or the Lions for me, the team that I think right now would play the Eagles in the NFC Championship.
You think they're the second or third best team in the NFC?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure I like them that much. I think I have the Lions a whole step ahead of them, but to me, they are a clear Super Bowl contender. Their starting corners are Darius Williams, Akella Witherspoon, and converted safety Quentin Lake.
Yeah. And they cut Darian Kendrick and then brought him back 48 hours later for whatever reason. But yeah, I thought that would make a ton of sense. But and I don't know if this is just playing the game or whatever, but I don't know if you saw what McVay had to say about a potential Jalen Ramsey trade. He didn't. I wouldn't say he shot it down, but he said that there's a lot of hurdles for them to overcome in order to do it.
It's the salary cap, right? I think they need Miami to.
Yeah, I didn't know if it meant a relationship
they could
thing.
Fire off a big draft pick and get Miami to eat the cap, and but the Chargers just a Dante Jackson, former 5th round picks, Cam Hart and Tarheeb Still. I think, to me, and I don't know that I think the Chargers are a lot better than the Steelers, but I would give them better odds of winning the Super Bowl. And those are teams, I understand, he could play outside, and he would be a big upgrade for them. I have a hard time imagining Jalen Ramsey being worth more to the Steelers than the Rams with Akella Witherspoon and Darius Williams as their starting corners.
Yeah, I mean, and I fully agree. I think even when you look at where they should be in terms of I don't know if desperation level is the right word, but the window's short with Matthew Stafford. I mean, you're trying to win. Yeah,
absolutely.
So I would think them well above and I think even from where Ramsey would prefer to go, I think the level of familiarity there with the Rams makes a lot of sense.
And just go to SoFi Stadium and play all-time
just show up and then
for the home team. Whoever's at SoFi Stadium wearing blue and yellow, that's who he plays for that week.
Okay. I mean, that sounds a lot better than doing the same thing at MetLife Stadium for those two teams to me. So if I'm Jalen Ramsey, I think I'd be down.
I'm interested.
But in all seriousness, yeah, that's a good point in terms of the cap being that, because there wasn't much clarification. I don't know if there was a follow up and that excerpt just wasn't put out there. But I was like, did something happen in terms of like a relationship wise there or something? Or is it just like you're saying contractually, there's some things to figure out that would have to work themselves out for him to go back there? But yeah, I mean, with the state of that team, their front seven, especially the front four has played so well. They are not like, I wouldn't call them the Eagles necessarily, but like there was a lot of questions moving on, or well, not them moving on, but when Aaron Donald decided to move on, and they just like continue to churn out really good players in the defensive front in LA. But you look at that secondary, and yeah, there's still certainly some questions. So a reunion for Jalen Ramsey and the Rams would, to me, certainly make sense.
I think so. I think it makes more sense than him coming to the Steelers.
Yeah,
for everyone involved.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see what comes to fruition from that. There were some questions, or one of them was actually kind of unrelated to what we normally discuss. It was more of like a content question and stuff that we're to be putting out. I actually wanted to ask you that first and check this box from Ivan here. Hey, Al, now that it looks like the Steelers will target a quarterback in the first round of the 26th draft, are you planning any special coverage in terms of the top quarterback prospects for next year? It'd be great to follow their progress and highlights throughout the upcoming college season. I know your channel mainly focuses on the Steelers in the NFL. Asking as a fan who doesn't usually follow the college season, only starts learning about prospects once draft season arrives each year. I think that there are many fans like me who would appreciate this type of content.
Yes. And I don't want to give away too much, but to the point that like I'm considering making that someone's entire job this fall.
Oh, okay. You know, my question was going to be, is DB going to be involved, or how involved, I should say? Obviously, he's going to be involved.
The thing about DB is he's got his full-time job, and I can only pull him in so many directions, and of course I'm going to want analysis on the team itself. So yeah.
Yeah, DB's so annoying with the other stuff that he's got going on. You know, being a
How
dad,
dare him like have a career, family. Where are your priorities, DB? Jeez.
Yeah, you know, we need him on the grind 24/7, kind of like Noah Hiles on the Pittsburgh Pirates beat. That's the type of grind that we need Derek Bell to be on. But anyways, I wanted to go to that next because, you know, again, not something that we necessarily would typically be discussing, but Noah Hiles, good friend, is covering the Pirates for the Post-Gazette. Known him for a while, moved into that position within the last few years. Used to cover Pitt athletics, but we know how long days can be for reporters, and the Pirates had a doubleheader yesterday. The first game started in a rain delay. The second game had a rain delay during it. So I don't know exactly. I guess I could go back on his timeline and figure out exactly when he got to the ballpark, but he posted a screenshot of him still being in the press box at 1:31 in the morning. So, you know, long day for Noah Hiles yesterday on the Pirates beat. And you would know, you know, more than me, obviously, and more than most people that are watching or listening to this show, what those can look like, and can probably shine some lights on what a day like that is like for the reporter.
Yeah, I just wanted to like, Noah got some heat for like saying like I'm kind of done with this season, and
yeah,
I kind of wanted to like, not like I think there's this like oh, you can't, you're not allowed to complain about your job. Like this job sucks frequently, and I got a lot better job than Noah, in my opinion. Like I'd much rather do what I'm doing.
Oh, by the way, real quick, he got there at 11:55 in the morning, and then 1:31 he put the
I've covered a lot of doubleheaders. I've covered a lot of 12, 14-hour days at the ballpark. They suck. And really sucks when you're covering a team that's awful. Nobody really cares about and just can't stop doing dumb stuff like, you know, refuse to pitch schemes against Scooble yesterday, bullpen fights with fans. Like, yeah, that's annoying. Like this, that's a bad day at the office. It's just, it is. Like, I don't know anyone who would want to sign up for that. I understand that lots of people think they want to do this job, and it's like, oh my God, do you know how many people would love to be where you're sitting? How dare you complain about it? I'm like, no, you really wouldn't. No, you really wouldn't.
And I think that from an outside perspective of a fan, because I've certainly been in that position where To me, at times, it had looked like a lot more glamorous than, actually when I built relationships with people and started finding out what that day-to-day grind was like. I think when you're a fan, you just think about like the idea of always being around the team. And that's like what you grew up watching. You just think, oh, it'd be super cool to always be around the team. You don't consider the other factors that go into that. And, it's not like, Allen's bringing in, 7 figures here doing this job either to make up for that. So I think that the pay, even people maybe sometimes overestimate what that side of things is too. And they're like, oh, you know what? I'll be well compensated even if the days do suck. Like it's probably not the business you want to get into if that's what you're looking for.
No, and don't get me wrong, I love my job, but there are bad days.
I think you have to.
Days. There are a lot more bad days on the Pirates beat than there are on mine right now. And I don't know. I feel like it should be okay for there. You got to be allowed to complain about your job. I don't know. I don't know why that's taboo. Nor do I understand the negative reaction to him doing so. Who isn't sick of the Pirates shit right now? Seriously, who among us is not just can I please be done with this team? I would like to type stop for continued notifications on the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm good.
That's the thing is how often do you have the opportunity? You know what the Pirates are very good at doing is uniting the fan base and the media. How often are the fan base and the media on the same page? Not very often. The Pittsburgh Pirates unite that because everybody just knows that they suck and everybody should be united in that. Yeah. I don't know. I completely missed this, by the way, until you brought it up to me beforehand. So I was just kind of going back through his TL to look and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, just from the from knowing people that are in the space, I view it much differently than I used to do. Growing up a fan, obviously, and there was a time where I was like, oh yeah, this is 100% the business that I want to get into. And no, it's not.
There might have been a time where it was always cool. I don't know. Certainly not in my time. I mean, this is
and that's why you say you love your job. I couldn't imagine. I don't think it's possible. I think you have there's people that certainly hate their job but put up with it because of the pay and everything like that. The other things that come along with it.
I mean,
yeah.
No, you gotta love this to want to do it, and it's so Noah's really good at his job. He's one of the best covering the Pirates. Noah actually worked very briefly for us. If you scour the depths of this YouTube channel, you will find some Noah Howe videos.
What was he doing? Was it Pitt or what?
Pirates.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm gonna have to go back and find it just because I literally had no clue. When was that?
Oh, years and years ago.
Wonder if I was even friends with Noah at the time. But anyways, shout out to Noah. Noah, don't feel bad about voicing your frustration with the way that the Pittsburgh Pirates season has gone. Like I said, I think the fans are actually along with you in that. So good stuff there. You got some other questions. Did you put out there and be like, hey, I want one question every way that you can send me one? I want a DM. I want an email. I want a text message.
2 DMs and an email, right? I think.
Was it okay? Was the other one? Yeah, okay. The DMs just look a little bit different because the way that they're cropped, but you're right. They are 2 DMs and an email. All right. So this one from Patrick Link came via DM. Steelers record against the Ravens from 2020 to 23 was 7-1 in 2024. Addition of Derrick Henry changed the dynamic a lot, in my opinion. Now the Steelers inside linebacker group is very strong. We added 3 strong run defenders in the draft as well. Should we be encouraged by that?
This is the $64 million question, right? Do you feel better about the Steelers defense right now going into Baltimore? I mean, I don't think they'll give up 299 yards rushing again. I feel good about that. But do you feel better about the Steelers? I feel better about the Steelers overall right now than I did at the end of last season. But specifically going to beat the Ravens, I feel like I'm going to have to see that. I like what they've done. I just don't know if I'm there.
Yeah. No, I mean, I fully agree. That was what I was going to say is I think if I'm looking at I've mentioned, I think going from Dante Jackson to Darius Slay is an upgrade. I think in general, second year Peyton Wilson should be better than year 1 Peyton Wilson. Patrick Queen, another year in the defense. Larry Ogunjobi, not taken away from him, but you spent a first-round pick on Derek Harmon, depending on how quickly he can get acclimated. We talked about, a quality depth addition, Daniel Ekuwale as well. I think they're better suited along the defensive line as a whole, but, specifically against the Ravens, I don't want to make I talked about this loss so much, and I don't want to overdo it, but Noah Landon Roberts makes me a little bit curious about this off-ball linebacker's ability to play the run until I actually see it.
And Derek Harmon, I'm very high on Derek Harmon, big picture. I think he's going to be a really good player for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But even guys who turn out to be really good defensive linemen are not always very good their rookie year. Yeah. There could be some struggles there. And that wouldn't be unexpected.
Would you, I know I asked this when we were leading up to the draft, but in terms of this Ravens matchup, should this be a reason for concern with Derek Harmon? I think he had the second highest missed tackle percentage among the defensive linemen out of, the group that came out along the defensive line. Is that something that would concern you in terms of this Ravens matchup?
If somebody's going to give you missed tackles as a defensive lineman, it's Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know that it concerns me because, how often is the Steelers' defensive tackle one-on-one with Lamar Jackson? Probably not very frequently. But, when you go look at Harmon's tape, that is pretty much what it is. It's he just, blows a guy up and kind of gets into a place where he shouldn't really be and then can't make the tackle, right? And so,
yeah.
That's why I wasn't really concerned by the missed tackles because here is if your three tech sends the guard into orbit and then goes charging after the quarterback, swings and misses, that play's still probably screwed.
Right. It's helping somebody else probably be able to clean up the play at the very least. Yeah.
Right.
Weird comparison, but honestly, when I was watching him and some of the I don't know if over pursuit's the right word, but at times certainly being around the ball but not able to clean it. We talked about that with Keanu Benton early too, but completely different position. Early Ryan Shazier was always around the ball, but wasn't finishing on plays. I don't know. So I think that's certainly something to watch. I agree. Until I see it, I don't know that they're necessarily better suited to match up with the Ravens, at least right away. But I think there was a clear emphasis on doing so, big picture, like you said. Because, I was even talking about this, was it a bit of you got to beat the teams in your division. I 100% get that. But was those last two games against the Ravens, the way that they got the ball ran on them, did that just completely decide their draft board? And if so, was it an overcorrection in doing so?
I kind of feel like Jack Sawyer might have been an overcorrection.
Yeah.
I think
that's fair.
We need a run first backup outside linebacker. No, you don't. But maybe you think you do if you're super hyper fixated on beating the Ravens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've talked a lot about the three edge rusher stuff, but I don't know that we've talked a lot about it, recently since the addition of Jack Sawyer, where it's do you think we could see some times where he's playing outside and then they're using a pass rusher aligning differently, to also have him on the field because of the way he can set the edge and defend the run? So basically what I'm asking, three edge look, but it's Sawyer and whoever, and then maybe TJ rushing from somewhere else, Herbig rushing from somewhere else.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know if that's a Ravens answer. I think it's an answer.
That's what it seems like the answer to this has been is
right.
In general, yes. We're not sure about the Ravens.
The problem with the Ravens was different than the whole get TJ Watt free issue. That wasn't. TJ Watt was plenty free against the Ravens. He was just tackling Derrick Henry while Lamar Jackson ran by. It was to me, that's not a Ravens problem. That's a pass rush problem. And the pass rush isn't really what we're talking about here.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see how different the defense looks this year, because there's a lot of talk obviously about we're talking about the run defense specifically here, but a lot of talk about the back end of things as well. They did those communication things figured out. Gerald Alexander obviously coming back into the organization and taking over that role. What does that look like? So we'll see how exactly it is in terms of game plan defending the Ravens and everybody else. But I get to one more here that you got via an email. This is from Ken, who was in the live chat with the subscribers, which, by the way, a lot of fun. Everybody that participated in that, the SN Plus subscribers only live stream, appreciate that. Another one next month. And by the way, I already have the date for it, July 21st, the Monday right before we get to training camp. So be sure to subscribe, sign up over there, and get it on the action. But anyways, Ken said, thank you, Alan Smitty. And I know he DB here, but he said BD. So we're gonna have to make fun of, now we're going to call Derek Bell Derek. Appreciate you guys and love the show. Found you guys 6+ months ago when you were on Locked On Steelers with Chris Carter. Loved your even take on topics, and that made me follow you. What I liked most was not even the honest analysis. Never enjoyed people who are homers or even the who are always Eeyores. I want honest, always positive or negative, doesn't matter as long as it's honest. I've been a Steelers fan since 72, have lived in New England most of my life. 20+ years of Brady was tough, but I love throwing out the 18-1 when Pats fans are talking crap. Thanks for answering my question last night and about 11 personnel. Keep up the great work. Love Morning Rush. I have a 53-mile commute each way to work and back. Goodness. And take time out of yours and Locked On Steelers podcast to get me to and from. Love the content on the website as well. Thanks again. Again, that's from Ken in Raymond, New Hampshire.
That's a long
you know what?
commute.
Yeah, and can we just talk about, once again, the Locked On Steelers reference here. You know, we appreciate the audience that has found their way to here from your appearances on Locked On, but it always seems to go back to Chris. This is unbelievable. Not unbelievable, but
I mean, I'm really appreciative of everything Chris did for me. I think like going on his podcast really was kind of the start of the idea that this could work. That I could do.
Oh,
this.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think that was part of was going on there? I mean, I don't know that I would say, I don't know if it's the right word to use, but like an inspiration to do so? Or like what even made you want to?
It was something I had always had the idea for. I think it was just, it gave me the confidence that this could work. Like that I could do it.
I got you. All right. Well, we appreciate the comment there, Ken. And like I said, he subscribed to SN Plus, so makes it all the better. All right, we'll get to some of the YouTube from here now. I like this because it goes back to the offensive line thing. Carl Hassan plug here said, Alan, do you think that we will get better backups for offensive tackles? Cut down day gets here. Definitely a position, like you guys said, that I think needs looked at.
I mean, I think it's an issue. Do they think it's an issue? That one feels like impossible to answer. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I would, but I don't really know how to handicap whether they will.
Right. Like, I guess the only thing is from people you talk to or whatever, if you get the sense that there's like some concern there. And again, you're around the team, every day. Obviously when things are going on, and I'm just kind of like, hearing secondhand information or whatever, but at least from like I can speak to, I don't get the sense that like there's the same level of concern there that the fan base might have.
I don't know. I mean, I don't get a sense that they're like super concerned about it at the moment, but like, I don't know the level of faith either. I just don't get it.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think it's a really weird spot because you obviously have so much investment in both of the tackles. Obviously feel really good about the center. If they wanted to have improved upon Mason McCormick or brought in somebody to compete, that would have been very. Yeah.
Do you think part of the reason they didn't sign a higher profile backup tackle is to kind of protect Broderick Jones a little bit, so that like if he goes out there and struggles, there aren't people calling for somebody else week one? That there's no other, they have no choice now but to go through the year and give him 17 games to make it work.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it at least goes against what they typically preach. In terms of what they practice, I don't know that I can. I mean, you might be better to speak to that, but like I would think that they would just be about making sure the best player was going to be out there. I think it would make much more sense, at least from the way that they typically talk about creating competition, that they would have brought in somebody. And to be honest with you, the way that we're talking about Broderick, and I feel much better about this other player that I'm about to bring up, but we've talked about how much more important it is for, Joey Porter Jr. to actually play and develop than it is maybe getting a marginal upgrade in Jair Alexander. I mean, could you carry over that thought with, Broderick Jones and him playing?
Yeah, I think
this
so.
year?
I think it's sort of like sink or swim with the guy we got, and don't worry about. So the backup. So I think in their mind, like I kind of feel like no matter how bad it gets, it's Broderick's job all year, just to see where it goes, and then reassess. And that's, you're kind of burning the boats a little bit, right? You're kind of you're making yourself be committed to your plan of action. Not that you can't maybe go find somebody in a pinch, but like, it's interesting. It's probably not what I would have done, but I guess I can kind of see the strategy there, right? Where you're just saying like, no matter how bad it gets, we're just gonna play Broderick Jones. And
yeah, I mean, like, it's not what I would have done either. Again, just because it's not like he was playing so well on the right side to begin with, but now, he's flipping back over to that left side, and we have no clue what that's going to look like. And you obviously have, I wouldn't say a high priced piece of merchandise in Aaron Rodgers that he's protecting, but somebody that at least your season hinges on quite a bit in terms of him staying healthy. So yeah, it's not what I would have done, but it certainly seems like their eggs are certainly in that basket in terms of him developing, taking a big step this year while flipping back over to the left and playing a whole heck of a lot better. It's not just about that either. We've talked about that. Like, him going from the right side to the left side isn't going to magically make him look like a guy that would warrant the 14th overall pick and trading up for. Like, in general, he just will have needed to play better and also hopefully be healthy, because I think that was definitely part of it when you talk about, like, maybe not his lower half, but the upper half certainly impacted by that injury that he suffered pretty early. Like, I think you could tell that in his punch last year.
Yeah, I think the injury was definitely a big thing. But like, there's still lots of like non-injury related, like, penalties, missing the play call, getting the snap count right. Like, that just, if it happens on Aaron Rodgers' blind side, it's going to look ugly.
Yeah. Definitely into this one. Desert Cactus gave us $5 here. We appreciate you, Desert Cactus. There's some serious flawed logic with the constant discourse surrounding the playoff win drought. Say the Steelers won against the Browns in 2020 playoffs, only gets smoked by the Bills or somebody the following week. Does that in any way, shape, or form say literally anything about the Steelers team going into 2025? Nada, zilch, not even one iota. I like the word iota there. So considering that it has no bearing whatsoever on the 2025 Steelers, what exactly does constantly bringing up the playoff drought say about those who constantly bring it up? It says, I, as a Steelers fan, expect my team to be at the absolute top at all times, or stated differently, I'm entitled, and not getting what I want means I'm going to let anyone and everyone know about it. Bring it up constantly. Says infinitely more about the fan who says it than the 2025 Steelers, and I'm sick of being associated on any level with this whiny, entitled loser thought process. Ooh, Desert Cactus getting on the soapbox there.
I'm not sure it's a loser thought process. It is entitled and whiny. Yeah.
I don't think it's not a loser in terms of, like, I think it's just like calling the people losers. I don't think it's like a loser thought process. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just want to call somebody a loser. They're not really a loser. Like, some of the most accomplished people, I'm just like, oh, that guy's such a loser. I'd like to think that's where Desert Cactus was coming from with the loser thing, but I can't get into his head. Anyways, yeah. We've talked about this quite a bit. Obviously, I had a tweet about it where literally, and you know what? I don't even know if I mentioned this. What sparked that tweet was literally because the Steelers posted about Pat's engagement, and everybody in the comments was like, win a playoff game. I'm like, what does this have to do with, Like, but he referred it to the 2025 team, and this is something I believe that you've mentioned on here before. Like, what we are in June. This 2025 team has not played a game yet, and literally all the commentary ends up coming back to the fact that the teams from 2017 to 2024 have not won a playoff game, and attach it to the 2025 team before they step on the field.
And it literally is the dumbest argument in the world. It means absolutely nothing. It means like less than nothing. Again, if the 2020 team had beaten the Browns at home and then gone to Kansas City and lost by 34 the next week, no one would feel one bit happier about the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. Not one bit. Nor would they have felt one bit happier about the Pittsburgh Steelers at any point since then. It would not
I would feel happier just
feeling...
because people wouldn't be able to bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Like, would it have changed your outlook for the 2021 season at all? No. Or at any point since then? No. It's completely irrelevant. It's not. I mean, if you want to talk about the fact that they've been very far from being a Super Bowl contender for a very long time, fine. Like, but the playoff wins is irrelevant.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing for me is I just wish that they would, so people could stop talking about it. Even if it is just one, like, obviously you got to win playoff games, plural, to get to and then win a Super Bowl. But one playoff game in its own, what does it matter? That's the same thing that we talked about before, where it's like these fans in the same breath want to end the playoff win drought, but also want this team to tank and end up with the number 1 overall pick next year. And
some of them want them to lose so that the coach gets fired, which is also funny because that's not going to happen even if they do lose. So
they could have negative wins this year and it wouldn't happen. In that same breath, honestly, probably should get to this one before we get out of here too, because Eric, this isn't necessarily a question, but I know you wanted to address this. Said Alan needs to ease off thinking everyone who disagrees is stupid. It's fine if you're entering a debate on the topic, but not if you just keep shutting it down. And he spelled down actually D-O-W-N. Wish he would have gone with the down, D-A-H-N. But
yeah, I mean, look, I think there are some bad opinions out there about this football team that are pretty popular, and I'm not going to not call them bad opinions. I'm not going to not call them dumb if I think they're dumb. You're just going to get me, honestly. I'm not, like, if there's something that I don't really agree with that I could maybe see, like, some, like the way I just talked about what the Steelers are doing at tackle. It's not what I would do. I can kind of see where they might be coming from, and that's the way I approached answering that question, right? If the Steelers had signed, an undrafted free agent from Point Park, and he was going to be the backup tackle to Broderick Jones and Troy Fautanu, I would call that stupid, because it is. Like, you're just going to get...
We can even use a somewhat... I know that, like, we think that this wasn't even within, like, what they were going to do, but let's just use the example of actually trading an asset to take on Kirk Cousins' contract. I think that would have been a situation we would have been like, okay, well, now the process just looks completely dumb, like not even see the vision for it now.
Yeah, right. And I say they're dumb when I think they're dumb. I actually don't think they're dumb very often. But like, yeah, how useful would I be to you if I didn't tell you what I think is stupid is stupid? I don't see the value in that.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear what you want to hear from somebody else. Like I just, and I don't think, and I'm not saying people are stupid. I just think certain ideas are stupid. Smart people can have stupid ideas. The word fan, it comes from fanatic. Fanaticism causes generally smart people to do, say, and think nonsensical things all the time. Like that's part of this. I'm not saying the people who think that are stupid, but it's a stupid thing to think. Like,
well, and I mean, I brought this up on here before, but like before you and I really had like a friendship, or like I was really following you on Twitter or anything like that, we were following each other. I used to think that you were a dickhead. So on Twitter, but like I understand it now, and I appreciate that you have conversations with fans, because I think a lot of people in your space like don't even do that, and that's probably where this comment stems from, is because you actually will go back and forth with people, whereas like a lot of people, they'll put out in your space, will just put out their content, let the comments do what the comments will do, and not respond to any of it. So like I think that is largely the difference in why some people have that, and I just like know how to take you at this point and know where you're coming from and know it's all coming from a good place at the end of the day. So not everybody has that perspective though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any point in being anything other than honest. Like there's just that's what you guys came here for. You want to know what I think, so I'm gonna give it to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this would be pretty boring if you were just always, positive, always on the side of saying that
I saw
everything's
Jerry
good.
Dulac in his chat today.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked a question, or as a question, like apologized for like some of the crude, the rudeness of some of the other questioners, and Jerry's response was something along the lines of like, "That's okay, I like it. It gives me license to be that way back." And I thought that was great. It's just like, yes.
Well, okay, and Jerry will definitely in that setting, in his like mailbag thing or whatever like that, he will definitely like do the same thing I'm talking about with you, where there is like some give and take, some go back, like Jerry mentioned there. Like, but a lot of people, like at least in their social media spaces, again, they'll put out whatever they want to put out, and then I don't know if they have their like notifications completely muted or what, but won't look at it again. You see no interaction with them. They just put out their opinion, put out their content, whatever it is. See ya. I'm out of here. You'll actually like engage and have a conversation with people for better or worse, I guess, in the experience of Eric McLaurin here, sometimes worse. Well, we appreciate you being here, Eric. I don't know if you're a regular. I guess I could search the comments here and see how many times you've commented or whatever, but hopefully you enjoy the content in some perspective. But all right, good stuff. Alan, what's the plan next few days with me being in Ocean City?
Well, it's Friday, so the next few days, the plan is nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay. I was curious if we could like tease the people with what the game plan was going to be, but we'll see. We'll see what happens on Monday. All I can tell you guys is I'll be back next Wednesday for the afternoon drive. A couple days without me early next week. I know everybody's looking forward to that. Eric's probably 100% looking forward to that. But until you come back, I'll tell people they can find you.
Saunders _PGH on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. PGH Steelers Now is the site's account. SteelersNow.com. Go there, read the words so I can get paid. In fact, forget reading the words. I mean, do that, please. But sign up for SN Plus. That way you can read the words without ads. You get the best stuff from me, DB, the rest of the Steelers Now team. You get access to our members-only live stream, which happened yesterday. We'll have another one next month. They're awesome. They're a lot of fun. And you just get to help out the whole crew here, do what we want to do best. We actually have another one on top of the ones from yesterday. New subscriber, so you can real time maybe add this one to the banner. But Levi Bishop in the house, so there you go. I got another one in today, and maybe it's Beanie's brother. No, I don't. And then anybody can like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube platform. That's free. It really helps us grow the show and reach a wider audience. Over there, we have 15,944 subscribers. Ooh, I've got a great one here, Smitty. I'm so confident in this one that I'm gonna let you go. All right. I'm giving you the floor here because I have a great 44.
Dump truck Najee Davenport.
That is really good, and I'm really sorry that I'm gonna have to do this to you because that's a good answer. The dump truck also.
I think so too.
But I'm going with 5th round fullback Frank Summers. That's where I'm going here. Number 44. I had a good one.
Okay. Who else has worn 44? I was a bit worried.
Well, Dirty Red, who had it last year and then several years before that. Right now, Carson Bruner has it.
Okay. Yeah.
Not a whole lot of other notable ones.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. But all right.
Yeah, Derek Watt.
Oh, yeah. I knew there was like at least I'm like, I've seen this 44 on the field other than Dirty Red. Yeah, there we go. Another Watt. All right, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit us in the comments your thoughts on anything that we talked about today, question for a future episode, all that good stuff. If you're listening somewhere else, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, leave us a 5-star review, subscribe over there. Just search Steelers Afternoon Drive. Do the same thing on TikTok, and then you'll find me everywhere, Zachary Smith, PGH, Round Saunders, and myself. Thanks for jumping in and taking another ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive.